Bye. So, Will,
What's good?
Francis Ngannou.
Oh, the knockout. Yeah, that was a nasty.
I'm a Stipe fan. I like Stipe, and especially Len. We're talking about UFC. I forgot the number, but it was
It was last night, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to ask you guys like what you thought about that.
I'm not familiar with the O'Malley's and all the other people. I kind of just know what I was about to talk about, which is Francis Ngannou and Stipe. I like Stipe because of his fight with Cormier, and at the second fight, and it was a pretty back and forth fight. And then out of nowhere, the game plan came in to drop body shot after body shot, and he tagged him with like 18 body shots. In that round, he ended up knocking him out, and I was just like, wow. So I'm a Stipe fan off of that fight. But
Yep.
damn, Ngannou's a beast.
So I was watching some commentary from was it Cormier or one of the guys, like a bald head dude that was on ESPN. But anyway, he was saying that this dude that this guy lost last night, that he said that he's amazing. Like he was like underrated for a long time. Is that true?
Stipe is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Will, Stipe is, when it's all said and done and you look at the catalog that they produce, when you look at Stipe's, you'll put them up top 5, top 10 in some people's eyes, top 5 in everybody's eyes, top 10 all time, like heavyweights and all that.
Definitely top 10. Yep.
Depending on how much of a fan you are, is where he'll be on that list, but he'll be on everybody's top 10. So he's good like that.
Okay.
They make the comparison to Ngannou. I think Rogan said it. I forgot who. It might have been Rogan, but he compared Ngannou to Tyson when Tyson was just
on his come up.
Yeah, but more like just in that when he was zoned in.
Okay.
Not maybe on the come up when he had the belts, like just when he was zoned in and it was just Tyson. That's what I believe Joe Rogan compared Ngannou to, and I thought about it, because everybody, if you're a heavy hitter and you knock people out, that's automatically the comparison is right. Tyson. Yeah. And I'm thinking about it, and he's saying then they said Ngannou's kind of like Tyson. I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I have some points there.
To see that.
He does, but where I don't like Ngannou now, I don't know if you guys saw the first fight, and that really shows you Ngannou's, and he really is like Tyson. His punches, one hit a quitter, he'll knock you out. However, if you take him deep into rounds, or if you take him down, he's done. And you saw that in the first fight with Stipe, where he couldn't knock him out in the first round. Second round, this guy gassed. I mean, he was like breathing heavy. He could hardly move. I'm like, one, where's this guy's cardio? 2, I'm like, where's this guy's ground game? If he got taken down to the ground, it's like game over for him. So there's stand-up, there's jiu-jitsu on the ground, there's wrestling. Ngannou is like a 10 on stand-up. But then on the other facets of fighting, he's like a 4 and a 5. Wow. So basically, if you can avoid the knockout and take him into deep rounds, you could win. But you just have to avoid getting knocked out.
What's his record? I missed that part. Sorry, cut you off, Paul.
I'm not sure his record.
Damn, I don't know his record offhand.
But he has losses, though. He's not like undefeated, right?
Oh, no, he's not undefeated. This is his second fight with Stipe.
Oh, okay.
There's not too many undefeated UFC people like that. It doesn't carry the same weight as boxing.
As far as right.
Wins, losses, Okay. You're wrong. If you're 5-39, then that's something. But depending on,
it's more of like a
just your track record and who you fought, how long you've been fighting. Some people, you get to put people on arm bars and choke people out. So you're not meant, undefeated dudes like that. There's not. I don't know any that are running like that. So do people get losses in UFC? Yeah, doesn't mean like it means in boxing that if you get like 3 losses, you're out of the picture of being considered something.
Okay.
No,
I'm not sure. Okay. So they're saying that they're speculating that the next fight should be with Jones.
I
Jones is
heard
gonna
that.
mollywop him.
You think so?
Here's the thing though. Jones is like close to a 10 on all the different sections.
Mhm.
Almost a 10 in wrestling, almost a 10 in jiu-jitsu, almost a 10 in stand-up. However, Ngannou does have a puncher's chance. Like, he could possibly knock out John Jones. But if he doesn't knock him out, and I'm going to tell you this, John Jones' camp is going to have a solid game plan, and I don't think he's going to have the chance to knock him out. I think Jones will expose his weakness, which is taking him down and just submitting him, because he has no submission.
Again, you guys are more experienced with this than I am. So they're saying that he's going to have to move up in weight, though. Do you think that's going to be an issue for Jones if he had to move up in weight to fight? Can't pronounce his name, Ndakwe or whatever his name is. Ndoku? Joku?
Adebisi.
Adebisi.
Yeah.
He should come out to the ring with the little cap off to the side.
Yeah. Get some tits.
You got some tits. Ngannou's 15-3. He's 15-3.
Okay. All right, that's a good record.
Yeah. As far as what you were saying, I'd probably go with Jones only because how proven he is in what he does. I would add to that his length. He's like Pippen that can fight, and he has that elbow game. So I'd probably give the edge to John Jones. But Ngannou is kind of just always one punch away. Nobody's been able to hit Jones like that though. But that would be the part, the climactic question is if Ngannou could hit Jones with one of those shots, can Jones take it and continue to be Jones? So that would be a dream fight. I'd probably say in UFC, that's one of the ones that's up there as far as all time wanting to see.
You guys would definitely pay for that one.
Yeah.
I think I would. Yeah.
I probably would. That's one of those ones I think I would. Yeah. So on the other side of that, Jake Paul versus Ben Askren.
Oh gosh.
Will, what do you think about that?
Huh? Did it happen already? It happened already?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's been announced.
It's happening soon, I'm assuming, because they had their first press conference, first face-off, first, that ball is rolling.
Okay.
Straight Barnum and Bailey circus.
Yeah. So is that like your thought, just the circus?
Yeah.
Who do you have winning that fight? Of anybody that Jake Paul has fought, this is the most legitimate fight he's had.
Yeah. He's a legit MMA guy.
Not a legit striker.
Exactly what I was just going to say. Ben is a wrestler, and he wants to take you down. Striking is not really his forte, so I'm going to have to give it to Paul.
Wow. My head says it's going to be Jake Paul that wins. My heart and every other part of me wants Askren to win. So do you know who Ben Askren is, Len?
No.
He's the guy that he's probably most famous for the last loss that he took. And that was like 2 years ago now at this point. Okay. Technically, that was his last fight. He said, fuck this, I'm good after that fight. He was talking shit to Jorge Masvidal. And
it's funny, I type in Ben and then automatically it goes to Askren. He's like probably like the most searched person.
Right now because of that fight.
Oh, okay.
At any other time, he's not. Trust me. He's not doing anything to put the spotlight on himself like that. He famously got knocked out by Masvidal in a UFC world record 8 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. What was it?
Wow.
Somewhere around there. Might have been 8. I think it might have been 8.
And the 8 is counting the referee coming to stop it, one extra punch. So technically, if it was 8, it was probably 5.
That's mad quick.
The lead up to that fight was
that quick, yo.
Ben talking a pile of shit, and they call Masvidal, what is it, Street Jesus?
Yeah.
You know, Cuban from Florida, now has like a Jesus beard, has that long hair, so they call him Street Jesus, and like he just likes to thump. Like he was known for like the Kimbo Slice type street fighting before he came to UFC. So I'll say this: sometimes a dick, humble, funny when he wants to be, but doesn't talk shit really unless provoked. He's that one of those, like, you know, be careful of the polite ones. And he's one of those that, you know, he'll be polite until you push him, but when you push him, all right, you get what you asked for. So Askren was just talking shit. Like I'll just tell you to find the clip of Askren Masvidal, and the amount of shit talking that Ben was doing was just like, wow. Like, even, you know, it's one of those like, wow, he's really talking shit.
Okay.
And the most that I believe Masvidal said was like, you know, he's a bitch. Like, he was on Rogan, like, I'm going to fuck him up. Like, you know, because you get to be uncensored on Rogan. And he was just like, I hate that motherfucker. Like, and he's like, I hate him. Like, he was like, I hate him. He's talking shit. I hate him. Blah, blah. I'm going to knock him out. Fuck him. The lead up to it was the fight. The fight started, and Masvidal has his hand behind his back, and he's just leaning up against the fence. And he's just kind of like nodding his head like, okay. Askren was just standing there getting ready. Now, the thing what me and Will were talking about was Askren is not a dude who fucks with his hands. His hand game is weak. If you were grading his wrestling game, that's what he's known for. It's like fucking Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
You know, like he's a like wrestler. So that helps in UFC. You know, everybody has their little niche, their little school that they come from. So he's a wrestler, a good wrestler. Like he's, even if you hate him, you can't hate the fact that how good of a wrestler he is. Mm-hmm. Hand game is weak. So everybody kind of knows what his thing is. He immediately starts to try to wrestle. So the fight starts, and Masvidal gets off the ring, takes a couple of steps forward, and then runs and does a flying knee strike. And Ben, on cue, his first move was to run towards and start to go down like a wrestler. And his head went down, Masvidal's knee came up, and that's the end of the fight.
Wow, damn.
And Masvidal came back and just dropped like 2 hammer fists on him, and then was just making fun of him, talking. You know, when you just don't talk shit, but you wait for that moment that you can, and then people look at you like you're an asshole. People are like, well, why did you make fun of him? Why did you do this? He goes, well, why the hell was he talking all that shit?
Exactly. And I'm okay with that. If the level of trash talk prior to the fight, and then somebody gets the upper hand and actually can capitalize and then talk that shit back, I'm good with that.
Dude, he left Askren. He left Askren stiff on his side, like, you know, stiff on his side. And then Masvidal runs around the ring, and then he falls and does stiff too. Like, he does a stiff impression. Like, he's, you know, it was one of those. But going back to the Jake Paul Askren fight, when you put it together, that fight aside, and Askren's a dick for the shit he talks. Like, he's one of those. Now I'm rooting for him because he's fighting Jake Paul. Other than that, I'll be like, he's a dick. Just how he conducts himself. He seems to be cool off camera. He seems to be, from what I hear, he's a good dude. People do like him in that circle. But people that don't like him, they hate him. And you know, that shit talking that he does. But Jake Paul's his biggest challenge, but it's with somebody in a boxing match, but it's with somebody who's not known at all for boxing. So it's hard to gauge it.
Yeah.
I want to see, because Jake's his game plan may be to just keep doing that until maybe he feels okay enough to
I
fight
mean,
somebody that's
okay, taking certain fights, you mean?
yeah, again, I fought another YouTuber. I fought Nate. I'm fighting. Okay, I can't fight. All right, I'm gonna take on a UFC fighter. Oh wow, holy shit! But then it's a UFC fighter who has zero hand game in a boxing match.
Yeah.
So you're like,
He ain't picking Masvidal, I'll tell you that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think was it Ngannou or Romero? Somebody was like, all right, Jake, bring it over here. And Jake was like, nope.
Okay.
So in all the quote unquote Jake Paul fights, I'm interested in that one. There's so many variables that go into it. I'm actually now interested in the Jake Paul fight. I can give a fuck less when he fought Nate Robinson. I don't care when he fought another YouTube star. Like that, I don't care about. This one, it's
gonna be on pay-per-view, or how's it gonna be able to be viewed?
I'm gonna assume it's pay-per-view.
Okay.
It may be like when he fought when Tyson fought Roy Jones and Jake was somewhere on the card. It might be one of those. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be set up to do it, but
Gotcha.
Technically speaking, fighting somebody legitimate. But again, if they were in a MMA match, I'd have more of like, oh shit, like this is gonna be all right. But because it's a boxing match and it's against somebody who technically is a double arm amputee when it comes to the hand game, we'll see how it goes. I'm interested though. I'll say that.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna go to something else, but before we change it, but De La Hoya was supposed to be fighting. Did you see that?
De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Is he going the route of Tyson and them? It's not a fight, it's an exhibition.
So according to they didn't really on the ESPN bottom line thing, they didn't really say much. It just said that Oscar De La Hoya, they said his age. I think it was like 50, whatever he is, or whatever he is.
72.
Plans to fight again, but they didn't say like for what, for like exhibition or like for like an actual ranking or the case may be.
I'm gonna assume it's on a Tyson level of.
Yeah, I have to as well. There's no way. Again, once you hit a certain age, I don't think that's wise to be.
But other than like Canelo, Triple G, like other than like 2-3 people, I don't care about boxing. It's like, like all those names are gone.
Yeah.
And then you have, other than when Mayweather makes an appearance, other than again Canelo is a beast. Triple G.
The kid that trains with bears.
Habib?
I feel like a total novice, man. I used to know about every boxer who trained them, everything. Now it's just like, I don't know.
Well, you talking boxing or UFC? And that's how I am with sports now. So welcome to my world.
Wait, said it again?
I said that's how I feel about sports now. So welcome to my world.
I hear what you're saying. But no, so I thought Habib was an actual boxer. I didn't know if he was like UFC or not. I thought he was boxing.
Nah, Habib he's a UFC guy.
See, again, showing you how much I don't know.
Namakamedov.
I want to, so boxing doesn't hold that. Again, there are no Tysons. There are no way that name carries weight. Really, like even your boy, who I'm like, Lennox Lewis. His name carried weight.
Mm-hmm.
His jaw didn't, but his name carried.
I want to watch this fight that you're talking about. We have to, because if it's the fight that you're talking about, he came back and whooped this kid's ass and knocked him out.
I'm not saying
knocked down, but then he came back and knocked this dude out.
That's fair. Before a 6-foot brolic dude, like he's almost like he's 6'10", like he's gigantic.
Yeah, the big dude.
His chin isn't the most solid that was ever built in heavyweights. That's what I'm saying. Like,
we gotta look that up. I don't remember him getting knocked down like every fight or getting tagged up every fight. Like
I'm not saying he did.
Oh, so that's how I'm taking it. Like, are you saying like, oh, he got like his jaw is like super soft, So he must have
Glass
got
Joe.
jacked up.
It's I did call him Glass Joe. All right, his jaw's not Glass Joe status, but
all right. That's why. All right, so
I'm not saying he has the softest jaw. You're taking it that I'm calling him a straight bum. That is horrible. Like you're taking that level. I'm just saying he doesn't have the most solid jaw.
Okay.
And he's taking shots that, okay, like to me, those shots that he didn't take would have separated him to the status that you see him at. But for I've seen him smile and laugh and point and then get hit, and that face turns to the face.
Yeah.
And he goes down. Like the dude, was it Oliver McCall?
McCall. I think it was Rodman.
McCall knocked him out. Rockman knocked him out. That's the one that Lennox was like, he bang.
Yeah.
That was that one.
That one.
And then he came back and rocked him.
I've seen him rock.
He can hit. He's like 6'10" with gigantic tree trunks of muscles. Like he should be those things, but for that height and all that, like he can't take a shot like that. Like his jaw is more suspect than a lot of other people's jaws. If you had to rank jaws.
But by saying that, wouldn't you think he would have like a lesser or a lesser record, overall record?
No.
He would be getting knocked down like so much?
No, because you still have to hit him.
But you would figure like, all right, if you got such a soft jaw, once he gets tagged a couple of times, he should go down and fight's over. He lost.
Again, your interpretation of what I'm saying is if a fly comes and lands on his cheek, he's going to go down. That's what you're saying. I'm saying.
That's how you're describing it.
I'm saying he's taking punches. He's a boxer. He's taking punches. If he gets hit with a solid shot to the jaw, okay, we're now rolling the dice because we all know what this punch is gonna do. Whereas you've seen other heavyweights, if they get hit with a shot, they get hit with a shot, and they may daze them, it may sting them, but they're still in there. Those shots that I've seen Lennox take has dropped Lennox. I'm not saying he's never taken a punch. What I'm saying is one of the reasons he has a better record than maybe if he was, when you're on the size of a Klitschko and your jab comes out to half of the ring and you are technically a monster compared to the other heavyweights. You're a heavyweight, but you're a heavyweight amongst heavyweights because of your size. Yeah, you have an advantage. If you dropped him down to what the average heavyweight size is, I bet you he'd be getting rocked a lot more. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Put it back in the holster, bro.
Ain't upset like that.
When it comes to you and sports,
he's Jamaican, so
when it comes to you, your sports, and the teams and the people that you love, you will draw a sword.
I gotta defend them, man.
You defend, man. You defend.
Or I just want to be clarify whatever point that you're trying to make. Like, what are you really trying to say? But you explained yourself well, so I see what you're saying. But in the past, it sounded like you were just like, oh, you could drop as a fly. I'm like, his record doesn't really replicate that or indicate that.
No, but then I take into other factors.
Yeah.
Like, again, like LeBron James, his field goal percentage is pretty damn good. Take away the ones that he's right underneath the rim. And his shooting is suspect.
There you go.
That's how I see it with the Lennox thing. I just kind of take the equation and make my own. As far as heavyweights go, because of the lack of name power on heavyweights, Lennox is probably in my top 10. He's not cracking my top 5.
I honestly, I don't think he makes my top 10. He might be in my top 5 of boxers all time, maybe like in my top 15, but he's probably not my top 10.
If I have to give top 5 to boxers that I haven't seen, just heard the legend of, the Ali's and them.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I would have to.
Then Lennox is nowhere near my top 5. Maybe in the higher numbers of my top 10 or right out of it.
Yeah.
But again, for what Ali, you don't want to take those punches, but he was able to take blasts like Lennox. For you being as big as you are, You're not taking those shots like that. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a combat sport that people punch each other in the face. And for him to have the record and the belts, like, he must have done it well. I'm just saying, if a solid shot comes in for his stature, his size, you know, how big he is, his jaw is not as up to par with the other things.
Like what happened to Michael Grant, the way he got duffed out, and like where his knees were, like he got knocked out where his knees were like bent underneath him and like kind of like just fell backwards and like kind of bounced up because of how his knee.
I don't remember
I think he broke his leg or some shit like that when that happened. I'm pretty sure that.
I don't remember the Michael Grant knockout.
Yeah, that was disgusting. That was tough to see. And he's like big. I think he's even taller than Lennox. Michael Grant was like 6'8" or some shit like that.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.